It should be a kaparis.
Yeah, that's what I was. Yeah. Huh?
I think we left off Lamed Tes Amud Aleph Rav Chanan Rav Anan. Could be the same person, but just that one didn't say the Ches. Anyway, okay. Can't be the same person because they have a conversation. Okay. I think Hashem that's able to learn every day. It's supposed to be learning. We should have to do some English immediately. Rav Chanan Rav Anan have a shakli ba'azli ba'urcha. They're going on the road. Chazulu Gabra. You see a person, the Kozara, Zram, Badi Adadi, he's planting seeds together, which means that it's kalayim. It's a mixture of grains or vegetables. Amalei Nesimar Neshamti. So one says to the other one, Rav Hanan says to Rav Anan, according to some versions. He says, let's put him in Cherem. He's violating a rabbinic law outside of the land of Israel to plant kalayim. Amalei Lechavrisu, the laws aren't clear to you. That's why you're thinking like that. It means there's really no problem. So Chazula Gavra, they see another person because Basari Big.
So it's not explaining what was not wrong about it.
Doesn't explain yet. You'll see in a moment. They see that someone's planting wheat and barley in a vineyard. Amalei Nesimanu Shamti. Okay, that's for sure a problem. It's not just seeds together. This is actually in a vineyard. It's even worse. Let's put him in Cherem. So Amalei says to him, it's not shining by you. It means it's not also bright. The halachas aren't so clear. Like Kaimalan Krab Yeshia, don't we hold like Krab Yeshia? That in order to violate the laws of Kalaya Kerem, you actually have to plant the seeds, well, two of Kalayim, and you have to plant the grape seed together with it, not in a vineyard that exists already. You have to actually plant the vineyard together with the grains that you're planting, the wheat and the barley. Wheat and the barley could be because it says Lisizra Karmacha Kalayim, that you shouldn't plant the mixture. It means you need two seeds, which is already a mixture, in a kerem. This could be the shot. Okay. Rashi says something interesting. Anyway, Rav Yosef Maris Bizrani Vizer. Rav Yosef mixed seeds and he planted them. Amalei Abaya Vanantanana climbed the reception. Abaya is Rav Yosef's student. Tells to his teacher, says, but that's rabbinically prohibited. Amalei like Kasha, he says it's not a problem. Kan beklaya kerem, kan beklayis ram. It depends. If it's in a vineyard, then it would be rabbinically prohibited. But this is just seeds. This is just vegetables. Because it's in Chutz. But this is just vegetables or grains, so that's not a problem. Klaya kerem, he explains, if it's a vineyard, the be'eretz, asurim, bahana, that in Eretz Yisrael, it would create a prohibition that you can't even have benefit. So then, so then the rabbis were strict about it. B'chutzlars, they made a decree. When it comes to just regular grains, vegetables, things that you grow in your garden, the beretz leyasribana, that in Eretz Yisrael that would not be prohibited to benefit from. So in Chutz La'aretz there's no decree. Only the very strict one is your decree in Chutz La'aretz. Other number of Yosef. Rabbi Yosef then said, "Lav milsi damri." My pshat is not correct. The Ravs are against the Beirav Mishari, because Rav planted a vegetable garden for his yeshiva, so the students should have what to eat. be able to eat some vegetables, cucumbers, tomatoes, shiva. Sorry? So no, because that would be fruits. This is just vegetables. You can get it in radishes. You can get it in a few weeks. So anyway, he planted it in different rows. Why do you plant the vegetables in different rows? Apparently, Rav holds that if you would plant them all together, it would be kalayim. So Rav Yosef that said that there's no kalayim with vegetables outside the land of Israel, says Rav obviously held that there is. So my pshat is obviously wrong. My taima, what's the reason? It must be because you didn't want to mix the vegetables together. Amalei Abaya says no. See, Abaya tells him first. He tells him that you have a problem planting vegetables. Then Rabbi Yosef tells him that no, it's not a problem because it's only vegetables. Then Rabbi Yosef says, but actually there is a problem. Now Abaya tells him no, there's no problem. Abaya's just the opposite either way, whichever way it goes. Amalei Abaya says Fishlei me'ashminan arbal arba ruches aruga bachas memtza shaper. If he planted it in a way that would be the way that you separate kalayim, is you take a field and you have to plant on the different, you separate it in a way that you plant this here, you plant this here, this here, this here, and then with the perfect distance, you can plant something in the center. That way you've separated everything. So then I would understand that you'd say that it was because of kalayim. Here he planted because it looked pretty like that. He wanted all the cucumbers to be in one place, the tomatoes in another place. It would look nice to have these different rows. Inami and or else mishum tircha deshami. We didn't want the attendant of the yeshiva, the Manal Gashmi, when he's looking for the vegetables for the students, we don't have to search through everything. You've had all the tomatoes in one spot. Okay. New Mishnah. Anyone that does one mitzvah, they do good for him in this world. That's an understanding of it. Marichin layamav, and they give him long life. He inherits the land, and the understanding of that is he inherits the world to come. Inherits the world to come. A little surprising, but that's the way they understand it. If you don't do a mitzvah, then you don't get the reward in this world. In Marichin layamav, you don't get the long life. And you don't inherit the land, which means the world to come. Thank you. Then he asked the contradiction. One second. It says, these are the things that a person eats the fruits of his actions in this world. But the principle, the main reward, stays for the world to come. You can have a list of a few items. The Mishnah didn't say that. The Mishnah said you have a reward in this world, you have a reward in the world to come. And it was not those items. It's any mitzvah. Elohei, and the mitzvahs that you get the reward in this world, and also the principle in the world to come is kibbud aveim, honor of father and mother, gemilas chasadim, acts of kindness, achnasas archim, inviting guests, avas shalom ben adam l'chaver, making peace between two people. Talmud Torah keneged kulam. Talmud Torah corresponds to all of them. So problem is that here we have a specific list, and over there you didn't make it any specific list, any mitzvah. Rav Yehuda says no. This is what it's saying. Anyone that does one extra mitzvah more than his merits, that means that his merits and his non-merits, dismerits, I guess it's called, are equal. That he does one extra mitzvah, so then he outweighed all his the other side on the scale. So then it's comparable to as if he kept the whole Torah. Okay, Bichlal, but that would imply that the Hanach, go back to that list that says that kibbud aveim, gemilas chasadim, achnasas archim. What else is there? We have our different list. Talmud Torah, even if you don't have half and half, and you did this extra one, even if you have no other things, you're just full of, even if the person is full of demerits, and he does one of these mitzvahs, then that outweighs everything. It's a little surprising that one Talmud Torah should outweigh a whole bucket load of Averis. Amar Rav Shami says, Laimar, Shimei says, Shkulam Machras. No. What it means is that if you have half and half, and then you do one more mitzvah, then it's even like, doesn't matter which mitzvah. You have majority, you have 51% mitzvahs, you're good. What that Mishnah is saying is that even if you didn't outweigh the mitzvahs, but it's equal, even if the mitzvahs didn't outweigh the other side, even if it's equal, it's automatically over. If once you have 50%, you win, because you have Talmud Torah amongst it, you have Havah Shalom amongst it. Once it reaches 50, it outweighs it. Oh, I'm sorry. Now we have the Gemara's question, and that's how. If amongst those mitzvahs is Talmud Torah and Kibbut Avim. Yeah, exactly.
No fixed mitzvah described.
What is it?
No fixed measure is described.
Oh yeah, okay, that's the other one. Yeah, that's the first list. Okay. The Gemara says, an interesting contradiction. It says you do one extra mitzvah, even like that they do good for him once in this world. Ramino, we have a contradiction. Anyone that has more merits in this world, they do bad to him. It's comparable. It's as if it would appear like as if this guy is terrible. He burnt the whole Torah, and he didn't leave anything remaining. And anyone that has more sins than merits, even like they actually do good to him. But then it looks like the guy's a tzaddik, kept the whole Torah, and he didn't even leave out anything. Amar Abaya says, Masnisen, our Mishnah, the Avdan lay Yoim Tav Yoim Bish. What it means is that what they do for him is that they give him a good day in the world to come. So you have to switch over here. The Mirian. When it means Meitiven Lai, it would mean that they do good to him in the world to come. How do they do good to him in the world to come? By giving him a difficult time in this world. When he has suffering in this world, then that means his sins were taken away in this world. That means he'll have a better time in the world to come, because he was already punished for the sins in this world. That's the way Abai explains this. Rav has his own.
I didn't get what so what's this Yom Tov?
Yom Tov Yom Bish means that they give him a day in this. They give him a good day in the world to come. But the Mirian lie would mean that they're bad to him in this world. And the Meitivan lie that we had in our Mishnah, which makes it look the opposite, is really in the world to come to good to him by giving him a bad day in this world. And they make him suffer in this world.
So he gets his share.
So he gets his share and his full share. Rav Amar pays his taxes early. So afterwards, when he takes his retirement, and gets a
say thank you. Here you have still your clean for the so that's probably this.
Right. Can we tell you this? Right. Rava Marhamani Rabbi Yaakov. Rava says that it's the opinion of Rabbi Yaakov. Rabbi Yaakov says the mitzvah b'hayal maleka. There's no reward for mitzvahs in this world. Tanya Rabbi Yaakov was done in the Brisa. Rabbi Yaakov says, In the Chakam mitzvah shebesksuva b'teir shemat nischar mitzida shein tchias hamesim tliyaba. There's no mitzvah in this world where it talks about the reward, which is not referring to tchias hamesim in the by the resuscitation, the revival of the dead, which means that it's not talking about right now. It's talking about the reward comes much later. The kibbut aveim ksiv talks about honoring father and mother. It says so that your late days should be lengthened. That should be good for you. That's a reward. Should be good for you, and you'll have long days. Hooray! What about a person's father says, "Go up to the sounds like a big room. Lovely guys, and bring me the little birds." He goes up to the bira, some sort of bird's nest, and he sends away the mother bird. But not less upon him, takes the young. The chaziros on the way down, he falls and he dies. Says, where's the good that it's promised in the Torah? He did 2 mitzvahs. Where's the long life? Rather, what it means will be good for you. It's talking about in the world that's totally good. It means about to come. You'll have long days in the world that's totally long. So, talking about that, there's no reward in this world. Where it says, maybe it's totally not so. Maybe this is all hypothetical. Everything here, this whole story, it's all made up. Where it says, no, Rabbi Yaakov actually saw this happening. So he saw that there was a father that told his child to go get the eggs, not the eggs, the young birds, and he died. So it must be that it's not talking about the reward in this world. It's talking about the world to come. Sorry?
If you're a tzaddik or close to tzaddik, don't you make this world where we are, the world to come, part of it anyway?
That's spiritually.
Yes,
Yeah. Dilma Maharba Beirava. Mar says, how do you know that he was really doing a mitzvah the whole time? Maybe he had bad thoughts while he was going up, while he was climbing up and coming down from the nest. Maybe he wasn't doing it with wasn't so clean. As well, that's not a problem, because bad thoughts, Hashem doesn't make it as if you did an action. Bad thoughts are not such a problem. Well, that's not 100% so, because if it's thoughts about idolatry, then that would be different. We have a pasuk man tafas as basis shall believe on. Hashem catches the Jewish people even what's in their heart. Talking about Avodah Zarah. This is exactly what he meant. If it would enter your mind to say that there's a reward for mitzvahs in this world, then the mitzvah should have protected him, that he wouldn't have come to those thoughts. And this itself is a proof that the reward isn't in this world. Mar says, 1 second. Shliach mitzvah not supposed to get harmed. Says Hassan Bali Chassan Shani. Over there, that's when he's going. That's on his way. Here he was on his way back, on his way down. I don't get that answer because his father told him to get it. It would only take away from the Shlach HaKain he did already. What about the other one? I don't know. 1 second, that doesn't fit either. Because Rabbi Elazar says, not on the way and not on the return. You don't have to give Shliach Mitzvah for both ways. You just have to give Shliach Mitzvah for one way. Shliach Mitzvah on the trip, he's automatically protected way back. Gemara says, well, this is a different story because Sulam Ruahav Kviya Zeka. This was a bad ladder and that he went on. And over there, it's different. You can't rely on miracles. You can't do things that are very foolish and then say, well, I was a shliach mitzvah, someone gave me tzedakah before I went. you know,
What about the situation with David Melech?
tell me.
Situation with David Melech, where he did all kinds of not so good things. He ended up lengthening his life.
I'm not familiar with that.
David Melech, what David did to lengthen his life. He had a fourth meal, because he didn't sleep, but he did study Torah.
Oh, that's what he's saying. He studied Torah. Okay. And
The connection.
studied Torah. No, he studied
Connection was not
Torah.
good.
He studied Torah. He was protected, right?
And he didn't sleep. It was a bad example.
Okay. So, but you can't rely on miracles. So that's why over here, when the child fell, even though he was a shleich mitzvah, but he can't be protected. You can't rely on the protection of the mitzvah when there's danger that's already there. It says in the pasuk, Shmuel says, it is referring to David HaMelech. Shmuel says, how can I go to anoint David when Shaul is going to hear? Shaul was still the king when David was anointed. So Shaul's going to hear, he's going to kill me. So whatever he brings, that some sort of sacrifice, and then Amar Rabbi Yosef says, "Ilmali drasha darshe acher lahaykruk Rabbi Yaakov bar Brati lachata." If only acher is a nickname for Elisha ben Avuya. Only acher would have learned this pasuk the way Rabbi Yaakov, the son of his daughter, Acher's daughter. I don't know who she married, but her son was Rabbi Yaakov, the one that had this pshat. And Acher didn't have this. If only Acher would have learned the way his grandson learned, then he never would have sinned. But Acher, what happened with Acher? Some say that Acher actually saw exactly what Rabbi Yaakov saw. Not exactly the same story, but Ki Hagavna, like that story. He also saw a father telling his son to go up the tree and to send away the bird, and the child fell. Vikadamri, some say Lishna the chutzpah, some Turgman Chasad Avigor Davaracha. He saw the tongue of chutzpah some Turgman that was killed by the Romans. Asaru Gemalchas. So his tongue was being dragged by a Davaracha. Sounds like a pig. And Amar, he said, Pesh Ipik Magalia Silach Lechafar, a mouth that gave out pearls should be licking the dust. Nafak Chata. He went out and he sinned. Okay. If he would have learned like his grandson, then he never would have left. We have different other stories about what happened with him.
So the grandson said basically the ladder was already shaking.
Yeah.
And so kind of like this.
The shaky ladder. Right. The shaky ladder. That takes away the problem. Shluchim mitzvah in Nizakin. I know for the mitzvah itself, the reward comes later. But what about that he shouldn't be harmed? Right? Where's his long life? His long life is going to come later. We had a question. What about being harmed? He's a shliach mitzvah. Shouldn't be harmed as a shliach mitzvah. He said, okay, but that was already dangerous. You're asking, where's the reward though? Not the he shouldn't be harmed. That took away the other question.
So it's like saying you don't want to be harmed, stay in bed all day.
Then there's bed sores.
So anyone is like just you never went out, you never did. Isn't that the whole idea? You should be able to go out,
Right?
As long as you're doing the mitzvah, and there's going to be shaky things along the way.
Right.
Protect you.
But kriya zeka is different. Kriya zeka
If you see it, if you know it. So
yeah, this is a kriya zeka. Okay. Rami Rav Tuvi bar Rav Kisna l'Rava. Rav Tuvi bar Rav Kisna asked a contradiction to Rava. You had a question?
Oh, yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, why couldn't that be the answer for both? That it was a dangerous situation, so he couldn't get the reward either. He put himself in a dangerous situation.
Yeah, it doesn't. I guess the reward shouldn't be dependent on that. The reward should be the reward no matter what. It's like a payment for what he did. The only question is the side issues.
But he put himself in a situation, like he prevented himself from getting the rewards. Like somebody who doesn't, a worker who doesn't show up to get his compensation.
He doesn't show up to get his compensation. He's still owed the compensation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what about his reward? Yeah, he's still owed the reward. So what happens to him? So Yaakov says that's in the world to come. So yeah.
I also don't understand like what made Acher sin by seeing a tzaddik tongue be dragged. Like what did that, what reaction did that make in him that somehow Torah is not worthwhile? Because I don't know, it's like I don't understand that either.
I think it was the Christian argument that they gave to the Jews. You see that God abandoned you. Look, your temple's destroyed and you don't have anything. And look at us, we have these big churches and everything. You see that you lost the argument just from the reality. That was the he sees the tzaddikim are getting killed in this. That's a big argument.
Who's to say what's good
Thank
and
you.
bad?
Yeah.
I mean, world to come could be like you don't get the gift, the merit in this life. That means you could be reincarnated. We want to stay down here so we can perform mitzvahs, right? You don't necessarily want to go up to the upper world,
right? I forget in that Ramban's debate, he had this thing. They told him that was the argument they told him, and then he says something like, "I don't understand. When Yoshka is suffering, you turn it into this whole thing. When we suffer, you say that that's an argument." Like said, what's going on with you? Okay. Anyway, so it says, says that anyone that does a mitzvah, so then that means they do good to him. Asa in la yasalai. That means he has to actually perform mitzvahs. 1 second, very many. Yoshev avera. Let's say someone sits, he stays in bed all day, right? But nice and mitzvah, he gets a reward as if he did mitzvahs. See, he could have done an avera and he did it. Like who was it that went to sleep? Like Kairach, what's his name? He didn't go to join. Chaim ben Pelas. Right? He stayed inside, he went to sleep. So it's as if he did a mitzvah. Over here in the Mishnah, it says he has to actually perform the mitzvah. Amalei, so Rava responded, Hasam, that's because he actually had an opportunity to do a mitzvah and he was saved. Today, we always have opportunities to do opportunities to do avera. And he was saved from it, so that's as if he did a mitzvah. He didn't do what he could have done. Rav Chanina bar Papi, Tavati Yehima Chanisa. This Roman noblewoman requested of him to sin with her. Amar Milsa, he said some magical Kabbalistic words. Mali nafshi shechna v'kiva. He got filled with oils and I don't know what kiva is. What does it say? And scabs. He said he didn't do the avera. He wanted to make himself look bad so that she wouldn't want him. So he said something, and all of a sudden his body got filled with oils and things. They looked like he was sick. he wanted that, so you should be protected from doing Avera with her. So of the Himilsa, so she does some witchcraft, and Itzi and heals him. So Arak, he ran Tashabu Beibani, and he hid in this bathhouse. It was such a dangerous bathhouse that there were demons that would hang out over there. That even during the day, a person that was there could be harmed. That's how dangerous it was. Even two people by day by day the demons don't harm, but usually if there's two people, the demons don't harm. It's only if it's one person alone, and usually at night. But here was so dangerous that even by day, two people. The next family Rabbanan Man Natrach, who protected you from that? Amalahu, he says, Shnei Naisei Kesar, Shemini Kalalayla, two people that carry the Caesar's clothing, I guess. Caesar's things. They protected me the whole night. Armalei, they said to him, maybe there was a sin that came to your hands and you were saved from it. The Tanina, because it was taught in a Braisa, anytime a person has some sort of sexual sin, that opportunity for that, and he was saved from it, he has a miracle is performed to him. People of strong strength that fulfill his will, that listen to his voice. There's a new story. Like Reb Tzadok and his friends. What happened? Reb Tzadok Tabati Machanis, Reb Tzadok, this noble woman, also wanted him to sin with her. Amar La, he says to her, I have a weak heart. I can't sin. I don't have strength. Do you have anything to eat? Amar, so she says, yeah, I do. I have non-kosher food. Amar, what's the difference? If you're sinning like this, you could eat that food. It's all the same. Amar, I'm sorry. Shagris tanura. So she lit up the oven. She put the food inside. So it goes inside the oven. Amrale, my high. He says, what are you doing? What are you doing in the oven? Amrala, he says to her, David ha nafal baha. What's the difference? If I do this sin, I fall into Gehenna. So what's it's in the oven. Amrale, so she said to him, Yadi kuli high. If I knew that you take this so serious, I wouldn't have put you through this trouble of asking that you sin. Rashi says over here that she was a woman that he wasn't able to escape from. Now,
why would he try to say?
Well, Rashi says, she could have killed him. She was I think Rashi means she was an important woman that could have got him into trouble. But if you want to read Rashi, Isha Gedayla, could read Rashi that I don't think that's the literal shot, but you could read it that she was this big woman that she couldn't get away from. If you want to read it like that, you could. For the comics. Okay. I'm sorry. Right, there's even I think on Yom Kippur. There is, right? Rav Kana. Oh, what do you mean? Right. No, we're supposed to not achieve balance. We're supposed to have more merits. Right. Rav Kana have a kamas binti kulik. Rav Kana was selling these little baskets that the women would keep their spinning spindles and things inside. Tabati Machinisa. So one of these women that he had business with, I guess, asked him to sin with her. Amar said to her, Ezel ikshet nafshay, let me go and get dressed up. I'm gonna go prepare myself. Salak, he goes up, the kanafum yigul he falls off the roof, and he falls to the ground. He doesn't hit the ground yet. Asi Elio, Kabli, Elio comes and catches him. You know, like the firemen with those things, those big circle and things. Like a trampoline type thing. Elio comes and catches him. Amalei, Elio says, you made me run 400 parsais just to get here in time to get you. And from jumping off the roof till that's a big trip.
But
Amalei.
it's no the story is not much the ladder. In other words, why did Eliana become?
Why over there? Then
Jumping off the roof. That's surely
No.
is like a
no, because here he's saving himself from
that's a
the,
mitzvah.
no, here he's saving himself from the fire. So miracles happen. This is a different story.
So it's even more than just
Amalei migaramli. He says you're complaining that you made me I made you travel 400 parseis, but you know what caused this whole problem? Laban used it's because I had to make a living by selling those little things. So you have like shayfa the dinner. So I wonder. In other words, I never would have had business with these women if I wouldn't have been so poor. So Elio says, okay, fine, you're right, and he gave him a bucket of gold, bucket of coins. Sorry, hello. Right. Yeah, how was he allowed to do that? That's a good question. Why was he allowed to throw himself off the roof or to go into the oven?
it's like going up that ladder that you see is the throw up. In other words, it's not gonna help you if you know that you didn't have a choice. What were you saying, Moshe? What? It's a dangerous place to go to.
Right. Right. Okay. I don't know. Romile Rava Rav Nachman. Rava asks of Nachman the following question. Tana, and it was taught in the Mishnah. These are the things that a person eats their fruits in this world, but the principal payment stays for the world to come. Those are what we mentioned before. What's the source for these? So we start off with it says that you should have Lenten days and that should be good for you. So the Lenten days is referring to the world to come. Manitavlach means in this world. Someone that chases after tzedakah and chesed will find life. Life is referring to the world to come. Tzedakah, righteousness, and covenant honor is referring to this world. I'm sorry. Tayim, how did Rashi say this? Second. Tayim is Yitavla, it was in this world. Yeah. And Chaim must be the world to come. Okay. Is that what you have? So what's covered? Covered must mean Chaim is Eilam Haba. Tzedakah v'chavod is Eilam Hazeh. Rashi says. Haba Shalom, bringing peace. But there it says Ksiv Baka Shalom Rodfeyo. It says seek peace, and it will chase after you. Vamar Avavo Asir Redifa Redifa. Learn a Gzer Shava, verbal analogy. It says it will chase after you. Ksiv Hacha and chase after it. Rodfeyo. Ksiv Hacha over here it says Baka Shalom Rodfeyo. Seek peace and chase after. Ksiv Hasam Redif Tzedakah v'Chesed. And over there it says chase after tzedakah and chesed. Where do we see that it's going to live? Because that pasuk read of tzedakah v'chesed yim tzachayim, because the end of the pasuk says that'll have that. Okay, Talmud Torah, what about Talmud Torah? It's your life and the length of your days. Length of your days is referring to the world to come. And your life is referring to this world. What about Shiluach HaKain? How come in that Mishnah, Elu Dvarim, it doesn't have Shiluach HaKain? You ever thought of that? Say it every day. That's it left that out. Tana V'Shaya. Yeah, Tana left it out. Don't worry about it. It wasn't an exhaustive list. It was a list. Tani Tana Elu Dvarim Ata Amre Tana V'Shaya. The Tana says these are the things, and you say that he left out some. Amarava Ravidi Asperli. Ravidi explained to me, say to the tzaddik that it's good because the fruits of his actions he eats. Tzaddik toiv. Says tzaddik ki. Is there a tzaddik that's good? V'yesh tzaddik she'ena toiv. And there's a tzaddik that's not good. A tzaddik that's good to the heaven and also to the creations. That's considered. That's good. Now, what he's saying is that Shiluach HaKain is only Teiv L'Shamayim. Teiv L'Shamayim V'Ral L'Brius. He's bad if he's good to the heavens, but bad to the creations. Tzaddik She'ena Teiv. That's tzaddik that's not good. Similar to this, we have Oilu Rasha Ra Kigum Mul Yadav Yaslei. Woe to the wicked, evil, because he gets paid by the work of his hands. But Yesh Rasha Ra, is there a wicked person that's bad? Yesh Ra She'ena Ra, and there's one that's not bad. Al Ra L'Shamayim Ra L'Brius Rasha Ra. He's bad to the heavens, and he's also bad to people. That it's like he's a murderer or a thief or something like that. Then he's a wicked person that's evil. Ra L'Shamayim Bein Ra L'Brius. He's wicked to the heavens, but he's not bad to the people. Then what is he doing? He's Rashi says Gilei Arayas, and he's also not keeping the holidays and not eating not kosher food. So Rosh Hashanah, this is wicked, but he's not bad. Okay.
About the opposite.
That bad. Yeah, it's wicked to heaven, but he's not bad to the people. I guess the way it's explaining it over here is that we were talking about those that list that we had that you eat the fruits in the world to come was when it's good to both. Yeah. But it seems, why is Talmud Torah good for both? I don't know. I get why Kibbud Aveim Gnos Chasad Mavah Shalom. What does Talmud Torah do for people?
Maybe it's because teaching. Maybe it's playing on the word that it's not.
Isn't the idea that Talmud Torah informs all the mitzvahs?
It's Lilmod Ulalamed. That's part of Talmud Torah.
Ramesh says maybe it's the teaching of the other, teaching others. That's the. Okay. Of course, the people will say, "What do we need? All the learning for? What's Mayahana Le Rabbanan is the expression in the Gemara. What do the rabbis do for us by their studying? What do they come up with another pshat? What good is that? That's the Gemara says talks derogatory about people that say that. But what's the answer to that? What do they do? I guess the answer must be spiritually that they protect the people. When you study Torah, it's a protection for the community. Maybe that's the pshat. Let me just see if the Marsha says something. Yeah. I don't see. Masha has an interesting question. Well, he points out that there is kibbud avim in there, so it's not going to fit with Rabbi Yaakov. Rabbi Yaakov holds that there's no reward in this world, and this Mishnah says that there is a reward for kibbud. Okay, whatever. Azchus, it means merits or mitzvahs. Yesh l'keren v'yesh l'peiros. There is a principle, and there's also fruits that come out of it. Shneimar imrit tzaddik yitov. Say to the tzaddik because it's good. Aveira yesh l'keren ve'ein l'peiros. Aveira has a principle, but it doesn't have fruits. Shneimar oila rasha ra. Woe to the wicked, evil. Ve'lamani makayim v'yechel mipridarkim v'etzem yispo. Then how do I fulfill the verse that says I'm going to eat the fruits of their way, and from their counsel they'll be satiated? Aveira shaysaperes yesh laperes. What it means is that an aveira that has fruits, for example, chil Hashem, it doesn't have aveira. Because of that, other people see, and they also do bad things. Then that has fruits from it. He only did one action, but from that, other things, it had a ripple effect. This domino effect. If it doesn't have fruits, okay, fine. Doesn't mean that mitzvahs automatically have pears. And avera only sometimes. Guess so. Yeah, that's a classic speech. Yeah. The rabbis like to say that. But Rosh Hashanah speech. It says, how come it says that we don't say Hallel on Rosh Hashanah? It says the books of the living and the books of the dead are open. So, and you can't say Hallel. So it says, usually it means the person is being judged. That's a literal interpretation. But if he's going to be written in the book of the living or the written book of the dead. But the classic drasha of Rosh Hashanah, the rabbis like to say, is that it means the books of the dead, people that died already, they're still being judged every year to see how their actions are still being
come back.
Well, not if they can come back to see the effects of their actions. Could be they did something, and because of that, other people are doing, and because of that, other people. So they're always being judged. Yeah, it's not the literal reading. The speeches. There's a lot. They have a license. Okay. Aveira, okay, we did that. In the Pierce. Now we say machshavater mitzar falamaisa. Anyone's a good thought, it's combined to the actions. Then a God-fearing man says to his friend, "Vayakshiv Hashem." Hashem listens. Vayishma, he gives ear. He listens. Vayikasiv seif zikaron lefanav. He writes it in the book of remembrance. Li'eri Hashem. Those that fear Malachish Vishmai, and those that think about His name. What does it mean? Think about His name. If someone had intention to do a mitzvah, but it wasn't able to, Hashem makes it as if he did it, as if he did the mitzvah because he intended to. When it comes to bad thoughts, Hashem does not combine it to action. It says iniquity I see in my heart. Hashem does not listen to that. So then how do we fulfill the verse? It says that I'm going to bring to the fruits of their thoughts. My answer is if he fulfilled those thoughts, then Hashem punishes him for the action. If that thought came out into fruition, so then he gets punished also. But if the thought just stayed as a thought, in a Kaddish Baruch Hu then Hashem doesn't combine it. What about the Mantafas is based on Belibam, that he catches the Jewish people, what's in their heart? We quoted that before about Avodah Zarah. That's only by Avodah Zarah. Anyone that denies Avodah Zarah as if he denies the whole Torah. Ula says like Rav Huna says, Rav Huna, if a person does not Avera and then he repeats it, then it becomes permissible to him. What? You do an Avera once and then you get a license to do it again. Elanasis like Keter, it says if it's permissible. It's because it says, yeah, I do this all the time, nothing, it's fine, it's no problem. Amar Avo Mishum Rab Chanina Noich LaAdam Shiavar Avir B'Seis V'Yichal Shem Shemaim B'Hesed. So let's leave Amar Avo.
So
We'll learn on Sunday morning.
Sunday regular time?
Sunday morning. There's nothing different about Sunday morning, right? Everything's different. They will learn at 6 o'clock. Sometimes we learn by the book.
Thank you. Have a good showers.
Okay, have a good Shabbos, Eliezer.
Thank you.
In your life, but